Mike Jones.
Mike Jones. All right. Maybe they got the date wrong. I was waiting on James, man. I was ready.
Man, you didn't even spell my name. You didn't even at me correctly on the tweet, dog.
I didn't.
Nah, man.
I mean, it should have came up.
Boys break up. Every day I wake up.
All right, let's get right into it, man. Let's talk about the game. 2025 NBA season is over. The Oklahoma City Thunder are the 2025 NBA champions. I was actually surprised. Says we echo.
Still didn't spell my name right, man.
I just tagged it. Oh yeah, my bad. Is it echoing better?
I don't hear any echo.
I never heard the echo. Is that better?
I don't hear the echo at all.
I don't hear anything either. All right, 2025. Dang, they said we echoing.
Is anybody besides Mike Jones hear an echo?
Is anybody besides Mike Jones hear an echo? Let me see.
All right, man, this is Mike Jones, man.
It's just Mike Jones, man. Mike Jones, man. You got to come back. Man, Mike Jones, you done delayed us, man. We thinking we got some errors, man. You gotta fix those headphones, man. All right.
Trust the analytics of your headphones, man.
Who? Mike Jones. He's Jones in his echo chamber. All right. Oklahoma City Thunder 2025 NBA champs. I'm actually surprised, man. Like, I know they had the best record. I just didn't think they were ready.
Why? Honestly, you can't get experience. You can't get experience until you get experience. Like,
no, I get that. Just coming into the season, I did not think they were ready. My bad. I didn't know if Jalen Williams was ready to take that jump to be the number 2 option on the championship team. But man, they won, man. I give credit to them. I just feel bad for the Pacers, man. Like Halliburton, man, just terrible, man. I saw this thing that 3 guys who wore number 0 with calf strains toward their Achilles. It just shows you one thing I will say. You learn that when guys have calf strains in the regular season and they're out 3 or 4 weeks and people are complaining about load management, now you see why they miss so much time. I mean, didn't Luka have a calf strain? He had multiple calf strains this year, but he had the one on Christmas. He didn't come back to win February, like 5 weeks or something like that. So it just shows that, these teams really know what they're doing when it comes to the load management. I know the fans don't necessarily like it, but, I mean, you've seen whether from KD to Halliburton, if you got a calf strain,
sit down.
I mean, I get it. You want to play. It's the final. I mean, you're criticized either way. I guess your options are be criticized for playing hurt or rip up your Achilles and miss an entire season. Like,
I'd rather you talk about me not playing though, especially. I mean, I'd like to think going forward that we don't see any more guys going out there with calf strains, no matter the circumstances of the game. Because, like, yeah, man, like you're done for a year. It's a year minimum, and then you lose really another half a year because you got to get your timing back, your rhythm back. I mean, it's unfortunate, but I got questions for you, Raf.
Right.
Since Oklahoma City won, the idea of 2 things. Since this is a draft, people say you can't win, you can't play small guards in the playoffs. We saw TJ McConnell get whatever he wanted, and he's a 2-level scorer. And then if Oklahoma City would have lost, teams would have been like, well, you need a natural table setter, or you need a team that's going to shoot the 3 ball with volume. So it's like, my thing is, obviously you need the only guaranteed thing that you need that you have to win an NBA championship is you have to have a top 5, maybe 10 defense. Those offensive pieces.
You need a closer. I just felt like that was the difference.
I mean, obviously you need a closer,
OKC's
but
game.
just for like these ideas that you can't win with a certain player type or a certain playing style, like especially in today's NBA when we're not going to get a repeat champion for a while, like I just feel like you got to figure it out. And I mean, the main thing is you got to have a great defense, obviously. But like, you know, if Indiana would have won, then teams would have been like, oh, see, Oklahoma City, they didn't have a volume 3-point shooting lead dog because Shea doesn't shoot a lot of threes. So it's like
it changes every year, though.
It changes every year. So
you couldn't win with a jump shooting team. So
right.
It changes every year.
Or then they said you couldn't win with, playing 9-10 guys. Both these teams had a lot of depth. So I don't know, man. I feel like it's a copycat league.
As long as you copy the right cat, you're in a good situation.
The formula this time last year was to go shoot 53s a game. And, I know Tatum got hurt, but they were still down 3-1 with that same style. So, it'll be interesting to see what the new format is or who's going to try to copy who next season.
Yeah. The Thunder system is going to be hard to copy. But one thing I will say you need to copy, if you want to copy the Thunder's blueprint, you need some, I don't want to say hacking dudes, but you need
some hacking dudes.
You need some, and I tweeted about it and it keeps going viral. And somebody had tweeted something about what Alex Caruso's getting away with. And I tweeted that an NBA player told me, and he was actually talking about Tony Allen.
Tony Allen said it himself too.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
He said that, if you got the reputation as a physical defender, you can hack and foul the whole game and you won't foul out. And I think with Caruso and Dort,
and that's 12. That's 18 fouls with
Caruso and Dort, they just play physical and they do it so much. It's almost like if you are a bad shot taker, if you establish yourself as a bad shot taker at the first practice, then the coach is not going to pull you in the game if you take a bad shot during the game because you've established yourself. But if you don't take bad shots in practice and then you shoot, one leg step back during the game, coach going to yank you out. With that being said, I just think Dort and Caruso have basically established themselves as physical defenders, and they are allowed to just get away with a lot more than other defenders. I mean, the common name people came up with was Draymond Green, and you can say Draymond in multiple ways. He's established himself as a physical defender. He rarely fouls out, and he's established himself as a guy that's going to work the refs. He can cuss a ref out, and he rarely gets. I mean, he'll get ejected, but he should be ejected way more than he does. So, all right, let's get right into the questions. The first question that we got, other than Mike Jones talking about our echo, Mike Jones got them. I'm gonna leave Mike alone. All right, will the Spurs get more value out of drafting a wing backup center shooter at 14 or by trading for one? That's on you, James.
Trading for one. I think, I think they get more value trading for one. They still got a piece to play. I think that, at 14, can you get somebody who can contribute? Because obviously I think the Spurs timeline is they should be a second round team. Is there anybody at 14 available who can contribute to winning games to get you to the second round? Is it Neat Clifford? Is it, Cedric Coward? Will those guys even be there? So if those guys aren't there, I don't necessarily think that there is a rookie who can crack that lineup and contribute to what they're trying to do. But also the Spurs are going to have to try to figure some stuff out too, because they're going to have 3 guys, unless they make a trade, that are going to handle the ball. And you got Wemby still. So I don't know, man. The Spurs, I think their expectations for next year should be, obviously they're a playoff team. But how far they advance depends on how well those guys gel, how well they shoot the ball.
All right. The next question is, this is not a question. Ace Bailey at 5, Beringay at 21 for my Jazz. What do you think about that? I'll go first. I don't know if Utah would take Ace Bailey. And the reason I say that is because, I mean, they should, but I wrote about it that Ace has a preferred destination that he's looking to get to based off of everything that I heard. And one of them is not Utah. So his agency, based off of what I heard, they're basically willing to take the PR hit to try to get to the place that they want to go. And, and maybe it could be a team that trades up to get him, but he definitely doesn't want to be in Philly. I shouldn't say definitely, but based off of what I've heard, he doesn't want to go to Philly. Sixers are taking Ace. You can count it. We'll see. I mean, I have heard people tell me that Daryl Morey, if he he don't care about all the noise, if he wants to take you,
I'd do it.
Take you. Which prospect was the most enjoyable to evaluate? Was it Isaac Nogues? No. The prospect that was the most enjoyable to evaluate, Hanson Yang. For me, it was Hanson Yang, just because I love the combination of Kevin McHale-like shoulder fakes, shoulder moves, and he just was a guy that I like stylistically. I mean, he had game on the block. Even though there are some centers in the NBA that can score, I don't know if there's a lot that has his feel and just counter moves as far as scoring. And then he's a good passer. Just the concern is, can he defend on the NBA level? But he was the most fun. And maybe because there were so many people that didn't think that he was good, and they thought it was all just like, people thought we were like engagement farming, talking about Hanson Yang. And now you're starting to see that he's a legitimate NBA prospect. And I was just told Friday that Hanson Yang is going to go anywhere between 25 and 35, and he's going to get a guaranteed multi-year deal. Who's your most enjoyable prospect?
Cooper Flagg, for sure.
Why is that?
Cooper Flagg, I thought he was, they said he played well in the Olympic practices last year, but there was 3 clips, and I was like, I want to see where I was. You're not going to put all that film out. The only Olympic practice film you get is Kyrie spinning around on, all those dudes. But he came in and he exceeded my expectations. I thought he was going to be a play finish in 4. Turns out he was a playmaking wing. Jump shot improved. Handle made some marginal improvements. And he just impacted basketball like we thought he was going to be the best freshman, but he ended up being the best player in the country. And, he was my favorite eval. Let's see. Let me pick a question here. I want to see the Suns take Jace Richardson at 10. That MSU connections is there. Suns can't.
Oh, I never thought about that.
Fam, if they take him listen, I think Jace Richardson should have had a green room invite. I can't take him at 10 because they already have 3 shooting guards.
I mean, but I did an episode earlier today. I thought 10 was a little rich for my blood, but at the same time, he kind of can complement Devin
He could complement Booker for sure.
So, but they need I think they need a 5, but I don't know. You think they would take Derik Queen at number 10 if he's available?
If he's available, yeah, you got to take Derik Queen number 10. He's the best player available at that point.
If they take Jace Richardson at number 10, if he goes from no green room invite to number 10,
just change their colors to forest green, man.
That whole Michigan State, oh my God.
Yeah.
I never even thought about that. I mean, I did a whole podcast about Jason Richardson and really about who the Suns could look at as options at 10 and 29. And I talked about Richardson, but I don't even know why it didn't even cross my mind that he's got those Michigan State connects. All right. The question is, how bad was Jarris Walker's injury that he didn't play this series?
Yo, his ankle touched, the top of his ankle touched the ground. It was bad.
Yeah. I mean, he only played about 16 minutes per game total. Yeah, 16 minutes per game this season. But yeah, the injury didn't look pretty good. So it had to have been pretty bad. I mean, Tony, what's my man's name? Tony Bradley was getting minutes.
How do y'all feel about KJ? I'm assuming that's Kasparas Jakucionis. The KJ's in his draft. Well, not KJ Simpson, that was last year.
It's crazy because when people were saying WC Jr., I was like, why are people talking about Wendell Carter Jr.?
Who's WC
Walter
Jr.?
Clayton Jr.
Wow, man, just say Walter Clayton, man.
Yeah. So I think KJ is the only. I think people, obviously they call him KJ because Kasparas Jakucionis is not the easiest name to pronounce. But go ahead, answer the question.
Say what?
Go ahead, answer the question.
I think Jakucionis is going to go between 10 and 15. I think he is not a lead guard. I think he is going to be better up as a setup man, where he's asked to do a little bit less. I do question whether or not he can beat anybody off the dribble. But again, if he's not my lead guard, I don't necessarily need him to do that. I do think he'll be able to be a better shooter than what he was at Illinois. I have my questions about him, like running my team and being my primary, because I just don't think he has enough off the dribble, and he's not really a good athlete either.
Phoenix is good for him, though. I mean,
Phoenix would be good for him because, again, you got Booker there. But, I don't think he's going to go there. But, I wouldn't take him if I was Brooklyn or anything like that, because you're asking him to be somebody I don't think he can be.
I'm only here for the Mike Jones versus Barlowe Brothers banter. Who? I don't know no Mike Jones. TJ was afraid to score because his was getting blocked. We must have saw a different game.
Nah, what's his name was blocking his shot. He wasn't afraid to score, but he's a 2-level scorer. Eventually Chet is gonna win those matchups.
There was some plays where he was. We Case and Wallace fans, but it was like 3 possessions in a row. Yeah, I'm sitting there tripping. TJ McConnell
casing out.
ISO buckets, Game 7 of the NBA Finals. I had to throw some water on my face.
It was real? Straight line drives too. No crossover, nothing.
The new format is youth and athleticism. I wouldn't say it's new. I wouldn't say it's new. I mean, there's a bunch of teams that try to build with the youth and athleticism, but youth, athleticism, MVP, toughness, length.
But you know what though? They got themselves that Hartenstein pickup was really big because it allowed for Chet to play some 4. He can hover. You know what I'm saying? That was big. And you can almost say, I don't know if there's any Knicks fans in here because they really don't have any picks, but they missed what Hartenstein was able to provide as far as offensive rebounding, making plays. He's a little bit better defender than Towns in pick and roll. So that to me was it wasn't just young guys for Oklahoma City. They traded, they robbed the Bulls for Caruso. That was obviously a great move. And then you signed.
I wouldn't say they robbed them. I thought it was
you didn't get a first round pick. Caruso's a better player. It was a
great trade off for the Thunder.
You got if I'm trading with Oklahoma City, I gotta tap your pockets for at least a pick. And they didn't get a pick.
Get Usman Jang, you gotta get somebody.
I gotta get something else. I understand that, Caruso, he was very, very important to them winning games. So let's go, Ralph. Let's see.
Hold on, I'm gonna read some of these. Maury chooses logic over emotion. It's been documented with James Harden. That's true. That's true. Suns need Molly Watch. I don't think he's gonna be available at 10. Everything I'm hearing, his floor is at number 9, and there's some teams that are looking to trade up to get him, with Atlanta being one of the teams. Why are teams still trading for Kevin Durant? He's washed. Take a guess who asked that question.
Kevin Durant's not washed. He just probably can't be your best player. And that Phoenix team was 3 versions of the same guy.
We just hate greatness, man. Calling Kevin Durant washed means people are bored with greatness. 26 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 52% from the floor.
I wish he went to Minnesota though.
43% from 3 on 6 attempts per game. I just think people are getting bored with greatness. That Phoenix team was a disaster, but I give the owner credit, man. He came in swinging for the fences, no singles. He tried to hit a home run. And in the words of Joe Budden, sometime when you shoot for the stars, your gun's gonna jam. And that's exactly what happened.
Jam. All right. Suns should consider trading 10th pick for Mark Williams. Y'all gonna hit the Hornets up for another center? They got Nick Richards from him last year.
Yeah.
I'm not giving him a 10th pick for Mark Williams. I know he's productive, but he's not really a good defender, and he's brittle. I can't do that.
I think I'm gonna just try to get him on the free agent wire.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go for somebody in the 20s at the minimum for me.
Which team is the best fit for Maxime, and who do you think will draft him? I would like to see him in San Antonio at 14. Obviously, there's connections there. Him and Wembanyama played together in France. They're going to play together, I think, this summer at Eurobasket. They share the same agent. They're good friends. So I think that would be the best fit.
What you fellas think the Clippers should do at 30?
Get James Harden an athletic vertical lob threat.
I found at 30, I'm going with Yannick Conan Niederhauser. Give me another athletic big. So you're not, doing whatever you was doing at the 5, Ben Simmons out there.
Where do y'all see Carter Bryant going? Carter Bryant might end up in the back end of the lottery. James has turned the corner on Carter Bryant, but more so like put the car in reverse. So tell him why you put the car in reverse.
Man, if this is your first time, and again, if you're a part of the Carter Bryant family, Arizona family, I mean, no disrespect, but I think he might be a better player in theory than he actually is. I don't think there's a huge gap between him and Drake Powell. For whatever it's worth, like I saw Cooper Flagg give him major buckets, and he offered no resistance. He did play good defense on Trey Johnson, but at the same time, I don't know if I just don't think there's a huge gap between him and Drake Powell. Not from the defensive standpoint, not from a shooting standpoint. I mean, if it's a bodybuilding contest, he'll win that. But, I mean, muscles don't win you basketball games.
Lou Dort disagrees.
Lou Dort is hacking, dog.
So every year, think about it. Every year in the draft, there's somebody that moves up. There's somebody that skyrockets based off of physical tools and potential, not production. I just had this conversation, unrelated, but I had this conversation about Ryan Nembhard, and I think he's going to stick. And I said, if he's Trey Jones, is it Trey or Tyus? Trey. If he's Trey Jones, that's a win. And Trey Jones just finished year 5, and I went back and looked at that 2020 draft, and there's 7 or 8 guys that were first-round picks that are out of the draft.
Where did Trey Jones get drafted?
41st.
He was a 41st pick?
41st pick.
Well, I thought he was a first-round pick.
His brother was. Tyus was 24,
27,
something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So every year there's somebody that people end up drafting high because of the theory of them. And I think Carter Bryant could be that guy. And for me, I'm a production guy. I'm going to draft off of production because my theory, and I've been burned before by it. My theory is if you were that nice, you would have played more.
That's very true too, I think. But at the same time, somebody be like, nah, because Westbrook played a lot his sophomore year.
They went to the Final Four.
Right. And Levine was it worked for Levine.
Yeah. But I'm talking about a guy that averaged 6.5 points per game.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Should the Suns trade 10 for Claxton and picks? How many picks would Brooklyn want? I just feel like there's this weird triangle of Phoenix, Houston, Brooklyn. It's all Kevin Durant related. So I guess if they made that, I guess some of those picks they'd probably be getting them back. Are we overthinking it? The Magic love Michigan players. Danny Wolf at 25 to the Magic. I actually thought Danny Wolf would have been a perfect fit for the Pacers at 23, but they traded that pick to.
I wonder if they not necessarily regret. I mean, obviously regret is different because you didn't think Tyrese was going down, but I think they need another ball handler.
All right, how many Michigan players do they have in Orlando? Well, they didn't play
Franz.
All right, well, Franz,
his brother,
and Jet, but they don't really play Jet. Okay, yeah. Who will the Bulls pick, man? If I knew, I don't gamble. If I knew who they were picking, I would try to.
They're gonna be picking.
I don't even know what their track record is. I mean, I thought the Bulls made a good choice with Bazelis last year, but I thought it was an easy choice.
He fell into their hands.
Yeah, I can't believe so many teams passed him. Chicago.
I'd go with Cedric Coward for Chicago.
Yeah, I would go to wing. What do you think they're gonna do with Giddey? You think he's gonna get those 30 M's?
Because the Chicago Bulls, yeah, they'll give it to him.
So you think they would go with Giddey, Cody,
Cody, Giddy, Cody, Cedric, Madas, and whoever.
I mean, I've heard that they really like Kuminga. Like that's the guy that they really like, and there could be some Kuminga Vucevic trade chatter.
I don't like that for either team. Let me get this one, Ralph. Bulls draft Demon to play point forward. No, he already got a dude that's. You already got
Demon and Giddy,
and then you already got Lonzo. Another. I mean, he's not the same player, but no, I don't like Yegor in Chicago.
Yeah, I don't either. All right, I think the Pelicans going to draft Molly Walsh if Fears is gone.
Why would they draft? And it's not disrespectful, but why would they take 2 centers 2 years in a row?
Yeah, I don't.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
I think if Ace is available, if Ace is available at 7, the Pelicans are going to take him, and the Pelicans
between Ace and Fears, in my opinion.
The Pelicans could move up because that's why. All right, so check this out.
Go ahead, Ralph. Talk your talk.
Last week, I wrote an article, and I mentioned all of the players that worked out for the New Orleans Pelicans, right? And it was a wide range of guys. I think it was Derik Queen, Yegor Demon, Will Riley, Liam McNeely. I forgot all the names, but it was a wide range of. I think Neat Clifford was in that workout, and I'm like, got to be something going on. I mean, you can check it out, NBABigBoard.com. You can check it out. So there's got to be something going on because they only have pick number 7. Why would they bring in some of these guys? And then a few days later, they made a trade they made a trade with the Pacers for number 23. So they own 7 and 23. So if they can't make a deal to move up to get Ace, then they brought in some guys that they're going to take in with the 23rd pick. But maybe it's a situation where this is what I'm thinking. VJ goes 3 to Philly. Ace, the Hornets and Pelicans make a deal where the Hornets move down 3 slots, pick up another first-round pick because the Pelicans want to take the Hornets want to take Concanepo, and then the Pelicans move up to 4. They get Ace Bailey. All right.
Ralph. Do you see? I'm saying CMB in Brooklyn at 8. I can't take Conway Royals.
Yeah, man. At number
especially
8,
from Brooklyn.
Yeah, if at number 8, and I'm like completely rebuilding.
I can't still.
I mean, like, what is Kyler Murray Boyle's best case scenario? I think I'm going with upside guy that I think could be like the dude.
Yeah, I'd rather Kyler Murray Boyles in San Antonio, or even I like him at Memphis a lot if he falls that far, because I feel like, excuse me, him and Jaren Jackson complement each other well, and they're not playing drop coverage anymore.
Gotcha. Is there a chance the Hornets are smoke screening and they actually want Ace? There has never been a Hornets official response. Well, the Hornets, and I've checked in multiple sources, the Hornets have had a hard time getting players in for workouts. And I actually talked to someone, and they was like, think about the guys in that range. They was like, Cooper didn't work out for him. No. They were like, obviously Dylan didn't work out for them. Ace hasn't worked out for them. VJ hasn't worked out for them. I haven't heard anything about Trey Johnson working out for them. I confirmed that Molly Walsh hasn't worked for them. So only guy in that range that I've heard that have worked out for the Hornets is Concanepo. So they could be smoke screening, but I've heard from multiple people that they haven't had the easiest time getting guys in for a workout.
I'm up, Prof. Do you think the Hanson Yang is the best center for the Brooklyn Nets to pick up at 27? Absolutely. You take him at 25. Don't even wait that long.
Yes.
Go ahead, Ralph.
All right. Orlando Magic Intel at number 25. I don't know. I haven't heard any Orlando Magic Intel other than maybe they would hope that Jace Richardson is available at number 25.
I like him there. Where y'all think Asa Newell and Thomas Sorber going? I like Sorber over Newell. If I am Minnesota, I'm taking Thomas Sorber. Asa Newell, I'm a little lower on Asa Newell.
Yeah, I've talked to some people that have been in some of his workouts, and I've heard that they were just shocked that he wasn't as tall as they thought he would be. Doesn't have a crazy wingspan, and it's like he's a 4.5. Like, you don't know if he can.
Yeah, man, I'm 4.5.
4.5s are tricky. I don't see Daryl Morey passing up on a player like Ace Bailey. I mean, here's the thing. He may not want to do it, but ultimately the owner could say, we don't need to go into this offseason with noise that is unbasketball related. That's just something that, you know what I mean? Like they went through it with Harden. Morey tried to play a hard ball, and the owner stepped in and was like, nah, bro, man, let's just get back to talking hoops. Giddy and Dimon together are unplayable.
Absolutely.
Hornets are so quiet. Do you think Peterson's Nets connections could lead to drafting Ace and trading to 8? Yeah, possibility.
Perfect pick for the Grizzlies at 16 and second round. I think Colin Murray Boyle is the perfect pick at 16, second round. I'm trying to find a shooter at what's their second round pick? I have to look it up. But I like Chaz Lanier for sure.
Sniper.
I think you need that. And he can provide movement shooting too. And I think movement shooting is very, very important, especially when you're trying to if you got rid of, like KCP, he shot terribly last year for whatever reason. And he was a good movement shooter in Denver, but that might just be because of that Jokic stimulus package. But I think Chaz Lanier is a good movement shooter for sure.
Patrick Williams was the biggest in theory player of all time.
Nah, man, there's been so many of them now. He's been the most recent one.
Anthony Bennett.
Yeah, Anthony Bennett.
I mean, he went number 1. Wasn't Maxey a theory guy? No, I don't think Tyrese Maxey was. Tyrese Maxey had a strong resume. He just didn't shoot the ball well at Kentucky, and Kentucky has a history of
holding you back,
of guards like really outplaying where they were drafted, from Hero to Booker to SGA, Maxey. So I just think Maxey didn't shoot the ball well, and there were concerns about him. Was he a 1? Was he a 2? You know what I mean? He just was. Tyrese Maxey just a ball player, and I think people are trying to put him in a box. And even though him and Jace aren't the same player, Jace doesn't have Maxey's gear. I can see how people can say, "Is Jace a 1? Is he a combo
basketball player?" Greg.
If Jace and Clayton aren't there at 25, who's the best option for Orlando? Anybody go to Michigan that's gonna be left? I mean, you got to go with shooting, man. And I think Orlando's in a situation where at 25, you can take someone that you think is going to for fit. I think with Orlando's situation, maybe you reach up for a guy like Chaz Lanier. It's just they thought they had that in what's my man's name? Caleb. I forgot Caleb Houston with the Michigan. Yeah. Yo, I was at Impact in Vegas. Caleb Houston was working out. Talked to him. Was like, hey man, I'm doing this interview, creating some content. I was there for Blake Wesley. I was like, can I get you tomorrow? He's like, yeah, man, cool. Like 6 hours later, they say that he had a guarantee from somebody and he shut it down. And he literally, I don't know where he went after that. And it's crazy that Orlando gave him a guarantee in the second round. I wonder does he think dang, I should have stayed in school.
Thoughts on Mark Sears? How do you project him in the league? He's gonna have to guard somebody. Unfortunately, he's like 5. He can shoot. Offense won't be a problem. And I know people. He looks like Jalen Brunson, so he's automatically gonna get a Jalen Brunson comparison. But he's like 5'10", and they're gonna pick on him. So he's gonna have to be like Ralph said. He's gonna go out there and have to hack and tell the ref yo, what can I get away with? Because they're gonna try to pick on him even in the regular season too. But as far as scoring the ball, I think he's gonna be fine. But yeah, I think his biggest upside or biggest obstacle, I should say, is going to be his size on the defense end.
All right, here's one. Do you think the Hawks would take Hanson Yang at 22? He spent 8 hours with the team last Saturday working out and going through 2 separate interviews with them. I don't know, but I've got some reliable sources, and they said the interview went well. He played well, and even though he doesn't speak English, he knows basketball. So it was saying when he was on the court, once you got to explaining things, he picked up things pretty fast. well liked within the organization. Just the consistent thing I've heard from teams about Yang is, do you think he can be a playoff player? Like, everything I've heard is that he can be a guy that can play in the regular season, but can he play in the playoffs? All right, here's one, James. Would you guys agree that Miami is the real loser in the KD trade? Man, we can talk about that for a second. Like,
man, Miami, I don't know what Miami, like, you holding up a trade, no disrespect for Jaime Jaquez and Haywood Highsmith and Nikola Jovic. Like, Miami didn't feel like they have any direction. And it feels like they've been like pump. You know that D Wade gift from the finals in 2006 when he was pump faking? Like, they've been pump faking for years. Like, they almost had Donovan Mitchell. Could have had KD. It could have had somebody else too. I don't know what Miami's doing. I would have made that trade. If you're gonna be a middle of the pack team, you might as well get KD out of it. Like,
I just don't think teams are in love with their trade assets. Like,
and I get that too, but at the same time,
hold on, think about this. Think about how many guys that have played for Miami, and once they left that system, weren't the same.
Right, but they made it seem like that Miami was not willing to part with guys, not the other way around. Like, yeah, once they get out of Miami, man, that blessing disappears.
That's what I'm saying. Somebody, man, my man might
Kendrick
be out the
Nunn,
league. He take him out that Heat culture. But yeah, Miami, I don't know what Miami should do. I mean, you can say they got 2 all-stars in Hero and Bam.
Nah, man, they might need to go
Like,
full reset.
Like, it's tough. Like, do you get rid of Bam? I mean, tanking hasn't been the Miami way. I don't know. I mean, and then it's like, even though it is Miami and they have a lot of benefits from weather to no taxes. I guess they had Jimmy Butler a few years ago, but that was more so like a sign and trade. But I don't. Yeah, maybe Miami is just not as appealing as others. Maybe it's the weekly fat test, and maybe guys are like, look, if I'm gonna be in Miami, man, I need to kick him, man. I can't be getting no body fat checks.
What does Portland even do at 11 from my man? Yep.
At 11, if Derik Queen is available, you take Derik Queen. The Bulls might be an all-white starting team. Remember that common line in Resurrection? You know what? I'm not going to repeat it. I never hear Kasparas in the workouts. I don't know if I have either. There are some guys that just aren't working out with other people. There are some guys that are just, depends on how you look at it. Is the agent saying like, look, he's done enough. He doesn't have to work out. Then there's some guys that people are saying they're running from it. Like, they feel comfortable with their slot, but they're not one-on-one players. So they not working out against anybody. So, but I haven't heard anything about Kasparas in workouts, but I have heard that, just from some people that have been privy to some of the pre-draft workouts and games within the Wasserman group, which is agency, which is VJ, Colin Murray Boyles, Carter Bryant, one other person I can't think of, that he's looked good in 5s. You got a list for Memphis Grizzlies? Because we are not hearing anything locally. No, I don't know who's worked out for Memphis. I mean, they just got the pick. A week ago. So I imagine, like, before, wherever they were picking at in the 40s, they weren't able to get first round guys to come in for a workout. So think of it this way.
Question for you, Rob.
Let me answer this one. Think about it this way. If you're the Grizzlies and you just made the trade for Desmond Bane last Sunday, that means this week you would have had to try to scramble to get mid first round picks in for your workout, hoping that their schedule wasn't already booked. And then you got to think about logistics. If, player A that you liked was in LA, or I'm just throwing it out there. It was in LA this week. And then he may have, I'm just throwing it out there. Example, he may have Lakers Monday, Clippers Wednesday. His only available day is Tuesday. He's not going to go to Memphis for a workout and then fly back. So I think logistically it can be tough for a team like Memphis to get a player in that 16 draft range to come in for a workout this late in the process.
Lonzo for Isaac. Man.
Lonzo for I don't know
Man.
why when I would
You're gonna get 40 games between the both of those guys, unfortunately, man. Like they can't stay healthy. I wouldn't do that.
Oh man,
You
that's
offloading
like
the contract for a dude that's good luck with that one.
yeah. Spurs taking Liam. Actually, man, like I want to say stuff, but I don't want to wake up on NBA Central in the morning and get aggregated. But I had two people
Feds in
tell
here
me,
watching, man.
"Hey, man, who knows?" I had two people from two different teams tell me that they were shocked that Liam McNeely got a green room invite, and these two scouts who don't have final say for their team have him outside of their top 30. Any intel for the Wizards? Here, Fears is popular with the front office. I've heard that. Any intel on Utah with the 21st pick? We know 5 is likely Trey, but anyone else they like? I don't know. I mean, do they go with a backup big? Do you like what do you do if you're Utah with the 21st pick? What do you do at 21? I don't
Take
know.
the best player available, whoever that is. And then again, if whatever you do
I guess
at
a backup 5, but Filipowski's a 5, so
I'm just riding with Filipowski at the 5. I think his best advantage is at the 5, back as a backup 5 because he can move and push the ball up the court. He's more of a matchup problem at the 5 in the NBA than he is at the 4. I feel like I'm good there. At 21, I'm taking the best 4 of. I mean, maybe you go Ace Sanua there at 21 if he's available. I think if I were in charge, he'd be available at 21.
But what's interesting about that is, I jokingly talking about the Jazz have too many nice guys.
He's a nice guy.
And a scout from an SEC school told me, he said, I love Asa, but he's just too nice. He's just too nice. Is Will Riley the player we saw at the end of the year? According to what I've been hearing, Will Riley been giving out work in workouts. I've heard that from multiple sources that Will Riley has been so good in workouts. That's why he was pretty early in the green room. Was he in the first wave or second?
He was in the second wave. Yeah.
Do the Wizards have a chance to trade up to take Derik Queen? I don't even know if they got to trade up to take Derik Queen.
Nah, Derik Queen would be there at 6.
Yeah.
Drake Powell or Sion James. I'm assuming Greg can see you're talking about Utah. I like Drake Powell in Utah.
Hey, all right. Well, hear me out. Am I tripping? Could Sion James, could he be James Johnson? Miami Heat James Johnson?
No, I don't think he has that kind of playmaking off the dribble. Because really, realistically, he played point guard at Duke.
At Tulane. He played at Tulane, though. At point guard.
But we talking about when the lights got bright. Like he played point
38% at Tulane. I mean, that's
I'm not discrediting him as a ball player. I'm discrediting him as a playmaker in the NBA. Is what I'm saying. Who's the Bruno Caboclo of this draft for me? The closest one would be Behringer, but I think Behringer, I think he might be 2 years away.
But Caboclo,
but not saying
you have to think. I guess he's saying Caboclo because he was supposed to be a Giannis clone. Like Giannis made that man some money. So who's the hot player that somebody's gonna try to copy? I'm guessing that's what he's saying.
I still think it's Behringer, to be honest with you. He's so raw. Like he's as raw as T-John was last year. He might even be raw. He might even be more raw chicken than T-John.
I prefer Coward to Memphis over Kyler Murray Boyles. Me too.
But I just don't know.
Kyler Murray Boyles going top 10. Man, my ad mention is gonna be going bananas if Kyler Murray Boyles goes top 10. Is it me or is this draft way more interesting last year? Yes, it's more interesting. I think it's more interesting simply because we actually got a chance to really, really watch Cooper Flagg play. We got a chance to watch Dylan Harper play. Last year, like honestly, how many people watched a full Zachary Risacher game? How many people watched a full Alex Sarr game? How many people watched a full Ron Holland and Matas Buzelis game? So
I did.
This year, I mean, other than like the game where they played like showcase game, like during the season, like, I mean, I used to watch the dang G League games and you could see the number of people watching on the stream and they had about as many people as we got right now. Asa equal Tyrus Thomas. Hey man, I can't even disagree with that. I mean, I hope he's better, but Tyrus Thomas went super high in the draft because he was, man, you must do like, yeah, I'm like 12 minutes behind on this. Noah Asenge, who's your player? Best case scenario for me is Sean Marion / Tayshaun Prince, guy that can get you 15 points per game, no plays ran for him, hustle, transition, second chance points. Think he's gonna end up being a decent shooter, but long and skinny. When it works to his favor, that he's gonna be able to defend multiple positions. All right. Neat Clifford fits perfectly with the Memphis Grizzlies. Would Bane and Gone agree? Neat Clifford and Cedric Howard, two guys that are friends. They work out together. Two guys that are friends of the podcast, or the first guys that I thought of when the Grizzlies got to number 6.
Will they be there is the question, though.
I think so at 16. Like, even if you go by green room invites, they got in on the last wave. So
yeah, but
they should be there.
Somebody got a green room invite. We didn't think he was going to get one. Though. We don't think he's going to. Yeah.
Out of the teams with multiple picks, who would be the biggest mover or trader? It's got to be Brooklyn. I don't think they're keeping 4 picks. And I think if you're the Nets, if there's some teams like Sacramento, has to try to make a trade to get a point guard. Like, they can't go into the season with no point guard. You take advantage of Sacramento's thirst to get into the first round, and you trade, 27 for a future first round pick and something else. Was it true that Miami didn't want to give up Jaime and Jovic? I don't know. It can't be, because they didn't even play Hawkins. So
it's 40 ball at the end of the year when it didn't matter too.
Have you guys seen Sheriff Mike Jones? We talking about 2025. Mike Jones, we talking about 8th graders. Like, what if Bailey is attempting to fall far enough to have San Antonio make a move for him?
He's not going to
get that far to 14.
Hold
on. I got to answer this question. A team focused on defense wouldn't take Queen, but we just saw the Houston Rockets have a good defense with Alperen Sengun. So James did a whole episode on that, about how you can put defenders around them. A team with Alperen Sengun, yes, they weren't super successful in the playoffs.
They didn't score enough. It wasn't the defense.
Yeah.
They just couldn't score enough points.
Sengun was an all-star. If Derik Queen is Alperen Sengun, then Houston Rockets had a good defense. How has Sears been in workouts? I heard he's been good. I mean, he's still been in that. You haven't seen a stock drop. Are there fewer workouts in general in this draft season? I don't think so. The reason I say that, because this is what I've heard. There could be a lot of movement between 6, 7, and 8. So some teams aren't like letting it be known. Like, for example, let's just use this, throwing out there. The Brooklyn Nets work out Ace Bailey, right? That means it's going to be known that they have interest in him, which means if a team like Charlotte wants to get him, then, you know what I mean? Like, what's the saying? The price of the brick went up. So I think teams are really trying to be secretive on who they're bringing in, so that way it's not well known about the interest, because once teams feel like you're desperate, then they can, you know what I mean, kind of take advantage of you. Go ahead, James.
Who is a better fit for Chicago, Coward or Bryant?
I'm going Cedric Howard.
Cedric Howard. Like I said, in pick and roll, coordinate synergy, guards, ball handlers, shot like 48%, not 48, it was like 45% against Carter Bryant. He isn't really engaged on the defense end in pick and rolls, dies on screens, maybe that's a schematic thing, but I don't think his defense is as good as advertised. I really like Cedric Howard. I think he's a better offensive player. And, I mean, while he is older, like, I think he'll be fine in Chicago. What pick do y'all think has a chance to get the most value? Got a feeling good players are going to fall in the 20s. Number 1 pick is going to have the best value. Not to sound crass, but, like, Cooper Flagg is the best player in this draft. I think a lot of it's going to come down to the fit versus, I mean, there's good players, right? But if you look at like what's my man? We just talked about Jarris Walker went like 6 to Indiana. What does Jarris Walker look like in a different situation? You know what I'm saying? Like he can't get off the bench in Indiana. You put him in a different situation. Maybe he looks better. I think he's going to come down like fit / player. Like if you were Jace Richardson and you go to Orlando, you got a chance.
You got to get on the court first.
Yeah, you will. That's true too. But if you're Jace Richardson and you go to, I don't know, Memphis, like good luck. So,
all right, here's the funniest question of the night. Shout out to Undeniably Vic. Does Coward compare to Bane? The first thing I thought of, one has short arms and one has a crazy long wingspan. So I don't know which comparison you're talking about.
Duke Holiday come and take and work off your block. Mike Jones. These outlandish takes.
All right, here's one. Does Kalkbrenner make it to the second round? I talked about it in a pod today. I did earlier. Like Ryan Kalkbrenner, 4-time defensive player of the year. It's like 65% career shooter. Like, is Ryan Kalkbrenner really being penalized because he played 165 college games? Probably. Like, are we really going to take a guy like Joan Bettinger over Ryan Kalkbrenner?
That's what they say.
I mean, like, if they matched up in a workout, that's a situation where I could see, like, if they matched up in a workout, Kalkbrenner would eat him for lunch.
Yeah, but at the same time, are we playing through Kalkbrenner in the NBA like we did at
But I think he can be a dunker spot player.
He can be a dunker spot. What's the dunker spot workout look like? Between two dunkers.
Who's the Jalen Wells of this draft? I think we get asked that like every episode. I don't know. Like nobody knew. Like nobody saw Jalen Wells giving top 10 production. Here was a question that I saw that I liked. Tell me a single flaw of Neek Clifford apart from his age, please. Like Neek Clifford does not have any major holes in his game. The one concern I had coming into this year was I was like, man, he's athletic, but he doesn't get to the foul line enough. And what did he do? Got to the foul line like 5 times per game. So I think Neek Clifford is one of the more complete players in this draft. If there is a concern, maybe it's because he had his best 2 years in the Mountain West. So I could see someone saying,
but also with that,
see him in like,
But last year, and there's no shout out to Neek. I think Neek is going to be good. But they said that Tristan Da Silva was one of the most complete players in the draft, and he couldn't crack Orlando's rotation.
He played when they had the injuries, though. He wasn't bad.
He wasn't bad, but being the most complete player in the draft means.
But I wasn't a big Da Silva fan.
But I'm just saying that's exactly what they said about him last year.
Yeah. The 2027 draft is looking monstrous, like in a bad way, because this 2026 high school class is not very strong. Is the 2027 draft that much weaker than the draft? What is 2027 weaker than 2024? I think so.
It's too early to tell, man.
Yeah, but you look at the high school class. I mean, somebody could emerge like.
But the French boys is 2027, right? Hugo, you got to be 2027, I believe.
Yeah, but you think he's like, if him and Tyron Stokes are the 2 best players, is that a strong class?
I mean,
where's Michael Ruzic? Michael Ruzic said, I'm going back to Spain, bro. He's out of this draft.
Baba and CJ. I'm not sold on Baba and CJ roster right now.
Baba
Olatunde.
Since
we answered
CJ roster,
I don't like how CJ roster moves.
He impressed me, but they're 2028 draft.
Yeah,
they're 2028 draft.
But they're not the best. There might be better 2027 bigs in them long term, not right now. There was already Reed Shepherd, the worst third pick in some time. Reed Shepherd is going to be all right. It's just a bad situation. How would you scout the Bulls front office? Do they have some good scouts? I don't know. I'm not going to disrespect anybody in Chicago. Sometimes you can have the best scout in the world, but if ownership says draft this player, then that's what ownership wants. Like, it's not just the scouts bring the food to the table, and then the general manager and them they cook it. So, not sold on Baba and CJ. Again, we're talking about right now. They're very good players, but I just don't like the way either of them move. Like I get it, you have an affinity, Mike Jones, for tall forwards that shoot threes, but like it's still early for me and those guys in 2027.
I saw Tyron Stokes play against Dylan Mingo a few weeks ago, and it's crazy. I watched Stokes, and they were like he wasn't shooting threes, like he was wide open. He was passing them up. And then he was getting to the line. It was bully ball. And I was like, man, he didn't impress me, man. I wasn't impressed at all. I looked at the box score. He had 22, 10, and 5.
Man, Tyron Stokes
4 from 3. Like, he's a really good passer.
All right. So since we entertained Mike Jones, guys I like in 2027, who I think are going to be equally is whatever. Like, is there a big difference between CJ Rosser and Ryan Hampton?
No, those are 20. Are we talking about graduation class or NBA draft class?
NBA draft class is what I'm saying.
They're 2028.
Right, but is there a big difference between them and Ryan Hampton and Marcus Spears? I saw a youngin from dude that go to Kimball here, super athletic. Mari Wesley looked like he legit. There's some really good kids. I just don't, just because they're ranked number 1 right now doesn't mean they're going to be the best players. But let's get back to this draft class.
Can the world forget about Luis Jr.'s last game and believe? If he could shoot, I mean, we know he has good positional size and he rebounds. Just the question is, can he shoot? And then I've heard some question, can he scale down to a complementary role, especially if he's not a really good shooter?
I think he needs to follow the Dylan Brooks path because Dylan Brooks had this similar, shaky. I'm still going to shoot a lot at Oregon, but Dylan Brooks turned himself into a great defender. And, yeah.
I like this. Mr. Shownuff. What do you think of the fit with Coward at the 2 next to Trey? His size and length with his shooting ability.
Trey who?
Trey Young. I like that.
Oh, I like that too.
Yeah, I like that.
And then that way you got Dyson, Sid, Jalen Johnson, and Okongwu, and then you could probably switch 2 through 4
so do
sure.
You make that trade to the Mavs where you trade for Gafford? I guess if they do, then you go. I guess, one, I like it, but then you have to address your need for a big. So,
yeah.
Do you go if you're Atlanta, do you go Cedric Coward, 13, Karis LeVert, and 22 for Daniel Gafford?
Karis LeVert, and dang, that's a lot for Daniel Gafford.
I mean, out of desperation. Like
Daniel Gafford out of footer, though. He's 6'9".
Yeah, but he's what, he's what Trey needs. So you get your defensive wing that can shoot, and then you give up LeVert, who you don't necessarily need LeVert if you got Coward, and then Dallas.
Still another playmaker though.
Yeah, but you can probably find something. You can probably find somebody in free agency. Or just, hopefully.
We just forgot to mention Zach. You're right. My fault. So does Coward start?
Who?
You can't start Coward or Zach. Dyson going to play the 2. There's going to be Dyson, Arisa Shea, Jalen.
Yeah, but you're just adding,
But you still need to add another wing, though. Another big wing. I still think they need another playmaker in a center.
Yeah, but hopefully Kobe Buff can maybe drink some water, man.
Man, I do got water, man. His allergies is trash, man. Got a tick in my throat, bro. Bring back Capella? Nah, you don't want to bring back Capella. That man's feet is in the sand, dog.
I like No or Yang at 22. I mean, I like him too. So let me think. I mean, yeah, you can never have enough wing depth, but I do think the Hawks they must leave this offseason with the vertical lob threat. Another vertical lob threat. Bring back Capella and Horford, problem solved. Might as well bring back Josh Smith. At least bring back Josh Smith on the coaching staff so he can, give Jalen Johnson some points.
Dyson doesn't have the ability. He can come off the bench. Nah, Dyson statistically was like the best wing defender in the NBA. Like, you have to start him, especially next to Trey Young. He does need to get better as a shooter, but nah, you have to start that dude. You just got to.
But that's going to be a potential dilemma, like in closing lineups. Do you go with Dyson? You need him as your stopper, but then can he provide enough shooting?
Well, here's the thing, though. If you
bring
continue,
back ISO Joe too, bring back Mike Woodson.
Hey, Nah. If you with the Hawks, all right, if you can't get you a footer, right, there's ways to move Dyson Daniels without making him shoot jumpers. Because
A dunker
you can
spot,
you can
like
move
Alvin Thompson.
you can I'm dead serious. Put him at the dunker spot. Okongwu shoots corner threes. Jalen Johnson shot above the break threes. Ricochet is gonna shoot threes. Hey, make Dyson Daniels your screener in that closing lineups, and that way you can hide him in a sense. But you have to play him because he's too good of a defender. You just got to hope he get on that Lou Dort plan where he makes enough threes where it's respectable.
Anybody go back to school that would have definitely cracked the lottery? No.
No, they went back to school if they definitely cracked the lottery.
Yeah.
Uh,
Let's see. What's Nolan Troy's draft rank? I had Troy going top 10.
I got him
I
at
still
20s.
think if I'm Phoenix, I may go with Traore, however you say it, at number 10. I had him going to Houston. People thought it was foolish, but I still think if I'm Phoenix, you take him.
Ayton would be a great fit in ATL or LA. I don't trust Andre Ayton in either of those cities where, well, I mean, it depends on what the contract is. I know he's got another year left, but I don't know, man. His effort is just way too up and down for me. I don't, he's talented, but he's almost, I don't want to sound like Stephen A. Smith, but he's been disappointing in a sense because, yeah, he just, you don't know what you're going to get from him. He's got some low light tapes where he's just looking around. He's not even jumping, and then he'll mess around and have a 20-10 game.
My man missed the game because he was snowed in. Like,
yeah, like, come on. They drove to get you, and you couldn't ride back?
Like, that stuff happens to, like you know what I mean? Like, when stuff like that happens, it's crazy that it happens to the player that you would think
exactly
it would happen to.
Yeah.
I've heard this from some other draft evaluators, like Vicini mentioned stuff like watching for high hips on players that prevent players to play with bend. Do you pay attention to stuff like that? Yeah, I mean, I think Obi Toppin has high hips.
I think Evan Mobley has high hips.
Yeah,
but he has great length and great defensive instinct, so he makes up for it.
I think Ace got high hips.
Oh, for sure. I don't think Ace can get low dribble between his legs like that. But, you know, Mike Jones will say I'm a hater. That's cool.
Hawks have a trade exception. They can just take Gafford with that. But I don't think if Dallas understands that Atlanta is desperate, they're going to want more. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that's just human nature. Got to be a way to make Trae Young grow. I was at the gym. Man. I was at the gym Thursday with Trae Young, just watching him play with some young French guys. It was pretty cool. Trae was playing. If you follow like international basketball, Trae was playing Nathan Solomon. He was playing with Nathan Solomon. And what's my man's name that we like?
Matthias Mayhop. Come on,
Matthias Mayhop. He's one of my favorite guys.
Hey, listen, y'all thought we had the Yang propaganda. Wait till y'all find out about Matthias Mayhop out of France.
It's still early.
Hold on. Are we in or out on Hunter Sallis jump shot after playing with weird spacing this past season? Feels like his stock fell a ton. I think Hunter's going to be fine in the NBA.
I want him to go to Brooklyn. I want him to go to a situation where he's on a young team.
Believe in the combine.
Or that he can play. That's what I want to see. A team that he can play. Because it's like now with so many teams that think that they have a chance. And then I even think now with like what happened with the Pacers with Halliburton. Now I just think like, man, if you're a late pick, I think it's going to be hard to like get in. Are you frozen, James? I look like you frozen. How do you feel about Mohamed Diawara? All right, funny story. There's like 8 guys between France and Senegal with the same name, and they play the same position. So if it is, and I actually had a team call me and ask me the same thing. I was like, which one? Because I remember going to a tournament in Greece, and I saw a dude named Mohamed Diawara getting buckets, and I like tweeted and I tagged him, and I ended up tagging some dude that played like D2 at Missouri. It's a very, very common name.
That's like Jalen Smith in America. Like what?
In West Africa. Yeah. But the guy that's in his draft,
Malik Lewis went back to the NBL.
Malik Lewis went back to. Somebody said from France. I know from France, of course. If a guy named is Malik Diawara, he's either going to be from France or Senegal. And if you look at, colonization, West Africa and France are connected. I mean, you go to Senegal, you see like the same banks you see in France. So yes, Mohamed Diawara from France. I know that.
Do you believe in Adu Tiero's upside?
Hey, once I can't unsee or unhear what a SEC coach told me.
He can't shoot.
He can't shoot. He can't pass, and he can't dribble. How do you play in the NBA as a 4 if you can't shoot, pass, or dribble?
I got for you, Josh Okogie. You just run in transition and you cut and dunk.
Did he play this year?
Hey,
you know what team he's on?
He's the Suns, I think. The Suns or the Hornets. One of the, there's that triangle, man.
I think he's on the Hornets. If the Wolves don't draft an eventual successor to Rudy, they kind of botched this draft. Hey, man, play Leonard Miller. I don't know what to think of Tanji as a prospect. NBA Jam, are you from Omaha? You just mentioned 2 Omaha guys.
Right. Hey.
You're from Omaha. Shout out to you.
Put your hood in the chat.
Hey, you know what? Tanji's a guy that like somebody's gonna like pass him up because he's 24, and then he's a dude that could end up like cracking a rotation. Like I've heard this is some intel since we family. Like I heard that Arthur Kaluma is just killing guys in workouts, just absolutely killing them. But teams are just like, man, we done seen them for the last few years. Like they're just not necessarily impressed. And some of the like coaches who are doing the workouts, who aren't scouts and may not really know who Kaluma were, I've heard them say like, why isn't this dude in the NBA? But it's just because he's older that I guess like he just doesn't have the same appeal. And then I've heard people say he should have left after he had 28 against Kansas. And then it was like,
I'm trying to tell you, man, all that NIL money, sometimes it ain't.
Yeah, I saw Max Asmus at the gym a couple of days ago, and I was like, dang, he should have left after he had that year.
Tell you, man, but they was picking on him, and he didn't have a good combine. He needed that.
Elijah Martin gonna play real minutes next season. I had someone tell me that he is Deuce McBride light, but they didn't think that he handled it well enough and passed it well enough. You think he's who?
Gary Payton Jr. The second, whatever number he is.
Tyrone Hill couldn't pass, shoot, or dribble. Wrong era, my man.
For sure.
Wrong era. 4s in today's NBA really got to be skilled like 3s.
Can't just be out there hacking.
Smash the like button already. Where does Drake Powell go?
I think you should go in the 20s.
Yeah, if I'm Brooklyn, Drake Powell. Do teams buy Sorber's foot health? Actually, you know what? Surprisingly, it hasn't really come up. I haven't heard it come up. Proctor's going to be in the NBA for like 12 years. I could see that. But then if you believe he's going to be in the NBA for 12 years, he should be mocked as a top 15 pick.
But why is he certain to play in the NBA for 12 years? Because he can shoot?
I just think because he's a connector. You can put him next to, what's the word? Heliocentric. And, actually, you know what? What would be crazy is if all of a sudden the point guard creator flashes he showed as a freshman come back.
I was never a buyer in those. His left hand is very shaky, and he lacks movement to get to the rim like that. Like, even when he was a young buck playing for those Australian national teams, they were playing him in the same role that Duke played him at last year. Like, you bring the ball up, but ultimately you need to go stand in the corner and make these jumpers, because his best asset is his shooting ability. I don't think he's I don't really know if he's a connector.
I do. I mean, I definitely do. I think he can, just play both guard spots. Y'all know anything about Bogo? You talking about Bogi Markovic? Definitely. I've seen him play live a few times. Who do you like more, Will Riley or Drake Powell? Actually, it's kind of flipped. Coming into the year was Drake Powell, but
I still like Drake Powell. I go Ralph. Is there a switchable 4-5 in this class who's physically tough but mobile like Draymond Green, Horford? I feel like the Mavs need this kind of player than Gafford. I mean, you just got Cooper Flag who's switchable. Maybe not 4-5, but if there is a 4-5 guy,
I mean, PJ Washington.
I mean, Anthony Davis. Like, yo, how many more of these guys do we need here in Dallas? But no, to answer your question, I think that guy is Rasheer Fleming, who's switchable at the 4 and the 5.
Man, all right. For those in the chat, why didn't Rasheer Fleming get a green room invite? That's crazy to me. Let me hear your thoughts. I like Carter Vetter, about the same age. I ain't never heard of anybody named Carter Vetter.
Carter better than Drake Powell, is what he's saying.
I think Drake Powell has more game. I think Drake. Can Danny Wolf work in the modern NBA? Yeah, skill pays the bills in this NBA, and he can pass. How about that dude from Sydney? Is he any good? Alex Tui.
He was a little stiff for me, man. I think he's going to be more of a 4 than a 3. Initially, I thought he was going to play the 3 position. He shot the ball. His jump shot has improved a lot, but I do think he's like more of a stretch 4 than a combo.
I don't even know if he's good enough to be a stretch.
I feel like that's going to be his best advantage because he's kind of stiff.
Shout out to Drew Norton. He had Rasheer Fleming number 9 on his board.
Okay. Somebody higher than me. Yes,
I think
NBA
teams are afraid of Fleming's ability to put the ball on the ground at all times. What? Because he's from Camden, you don't F around. Hey, man, I like Rasheer Fleming, man. He wasn't even getting a lot of love on his high school team. Everybody was talking about DJ Wagner and Aaron Bradshaw.
What's your scouting report on Kobe Johnson from UCLA? He was at USC last year. Had a little buzz in, but
had a little buzz and connective, but I don't know, man. I mean, just don't have no buzz right now. He gotta really like get it from the trenches. Coward and Neek way better than Rasheer. I like Rasheer though, man. Rasheer, 39% from 3, like almost 3 stocks per game. He's athletic. What happened to Mikey Williams? Social media. I mean, shout out to Mike Bibby. Mike may resurrect him, but social media, my man was shooting at cars. I know you're supposed to forgive young people for mistakes, but come on, man. A mistake ain't getting a gun and firing in a car.
That's wild.
He'd have to be able to average 80 points a game for me to give him
I still don't think that's enough, man. You got something between the ears. Hopefully everything works out for him, but that's crazy.
Too much NBA young boy in GTA. Is RJ still in the draft? Yeah.
RJ.
Luis.
Oh, yeah.
Lewis.
Jalen Moore situation, unfortunate, towards Achilles.
Yeah, I mean, I'm friends with his agents. I don't know if you can blame the schedule, because if he wasn't traveling, he probably would have been working out anyway.
Yeah, sometimes it's just that Achilles just gonna go.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely unfortunate. I mean, it's just sad and it's unfortunate, but yeah, man, prayers to Jalen Moore.
Raf, who is your second round guy if you had to pick just one?
One that I think is gonna stick? I think it's gonna be Ryan Nembhard. Okay. I think Ryan Nembhard's gonna stick. Do you think about second contract potential or a prospect's value in a redraft more when making your personal boards? I mean, I guess like it's different. Like I don't run a team, so I don't have a team. So I'm not. I mean, you can look at it in multiple ways. Second contracts. I mean, do I look at it? I don't get the question. Do I look at it like, all right, this guy's gonna be a max second contract guy?
Man, that's in the eye of could be 100% situational, because Josh Giddey in Oklahoma City wasn't getting the bread he's about to get in Chicago.
Exactly. Where's Jace going? I honestly don't know what team he may fit. Orlando could be a fit. He actually worked out for the Hawks. That I have no idea, unless there's something brewing that we don't know about. Flag's a talented guy, but he isn't a give me the ball and move out the way guy. I you know what? I just think stylistically it doesn't look like some other guys, but he was efficient.
They gave him the ball
They
and
gave
got
him the
out of the
ball.
way.
I think he averaged like 20. I think Leafs say averaged like 26 and 12. I just think at the end of the day, just stylistically, it doesn't look like Michael Beasley. It doesn't look like Kevin Durant. It doesn't look like Carmelo Anthony. So, you know what I mean? Like, he can score. It just doesn't look as, it doesn't look like he's I don't know if this may make sense. It doesn't look like he's a natural scorer, like those guys that
But
get
that
out the bed
doesn't.
and wake up.
But
But
here's
he's
the
like a
thing, though.
manufactured scorer. Like, he's going to have to really, but he scored, though.
But the thing is, like, that same shot he missed against Houston, that's a good shot. That's just give me the ball and get out the way. Yeah. He shot that at 18 on a grown man Houston team. Like, the spin around, the crossover step back that he shot on Carter Bryant against Arizona, like, those are give me the ball, get out the way plays. Like, he's got it. He just got to take his handle to the next level. Just because it doesn't look like AJ DeBansa off the dribble. But Cooper Flagg is good enough where if in isolation, he's going to bully you to get to his spot, and he's probably going to draw a foul because the dude gets low. He's got broad shoulders. Like, he's got a ton of game.
Yeah, it's not as exciting as AJ. All right, here's one. What teams has VJ worked out for? I only heard the Sixers. If you can play, you can play. Yeah. Nembhard is way too short. I mean, Scottie Pippen Jr. is playing in the league. I just think Nembhard is a guy, like, hear me out. Nembhard is a guy that, all right, if you're going to fill out the 15th roster spot on your team, you're probably going to take a guy that can be your third point guard that when he's in the game is not going to turn the ball over. He's the guy that the analytics guys are going to say, hey, man, when he's in the game, his plus minus is good. Then he's going to be a great locker room guy. He's going to be, you know, a guy that what they call the stay ready guys, the players that are at the back end of the rotation that aren't playing. He strikes me as a guy that's going to play in those stay ready game. So I give you an example.
Go ahead.
I go to Mavs games, right? And Dallas is, you know, it's a cool city that people like going to. So sometimes after games, the road team, if they're not leaving, they may have like their guys that didn't play pickup 3-on-3 or something after the games because they're called stay ready guys because they got to play. Because think about it, if you're not playing minutes in the NBA, you can get out of shape. So you have to play. I've seen young players who like would rather go out or maybe catch it with their friends than play in those stay ready games that are after NBA games. Ryan Nembhard strikes me as a guy that's going to play in those stay ready games. He's going to be, you know, an extension of the coaching staff, and those guys stick. Corey Joseph, a little bigger. Corey Joseph been in the league a long time.
Corey Joseph started in the playoffs, bro. But look at like Colin Gillespie. Like, he played for Phoenix last year. What's my man with the receding hairline that was in Minnesota, and then he's a backup in
McLaughlin?
Yeah, McLaughlin. Like those 5'11", 6-foot guys. Shoot, Ralph, that was your boy last year, but that's what Tyler Kolek is gonna be.
Yeah, Kolek's gonna say Hubert Davis tax. What do you think the biggest takeaways from these playoffs that may influence teams' draft? Can you defend and can you stick? Ian Jackson has a negative basketball IQ. Yo, man, Ian Jackson had a stretch where he was so cold.
He tricked me, man. I thought
he had no assists. You know what? Mike Jones don't like dudes that pass. Think about it. Every dude that Mike Jones likes.
Yeah, he definitely an aura guy. He probably thinks Jamal Crawford was a top 10 shooting guard.
Mike Jones is the type of dude that thinks that Imani Bates is getting hoed by the Cavs.
Definitely a Bobo fan, too.
How do you feel about Khan's fit with the Jazz? I don't want to make a stereotypical comment, but it's a great fit. I mean, I'm sure. Khan Knuckle fits with Utah. I mean, he provides shooting. He's tough, and I think he'll be a fan favorite out there. All right, we've done. Let's do 10 more minutes. What,
Ralph clocking out? Oh, definitely. Jamal Crawford versus J.R. Smith for Mike Jones. Shirt off. Yeah, he definitely on that. What's that dude's name? Ball Don't Stop. Yeah, he definitely one of those. Shout out to Ball Don't Stop.
But my man, the Tyon Grant Foster is a Mike Jones type guy, and I'm a big Tyon.
I'm a Tyon Grant Foster guy now.
Tyler Kolek is going to be a very good regular season player. I wanted the Suns to draft him last year. I thought he would have really, really helped. Props to Thomas Bryant getting minutes in the championship.
Ralph, who do you think Portland should take at 11? Do you answer this question already?
Derik Queen, and then I saw somebody comment. They laughed. Queen, Ayton, and Klingon. I'm like, all right, you just got to get Ayton out the mix, man. You just gotta get Ayton, and it's time to just go all in on Donovan Klingon. And I think
Klingon, no, but
Klingon.
Klingon's injury concerns don't scare you, Ralph.
Yeah, they do. They do.
I feel like that's why they have insurance, though.
You drafted him, what, 7? He went pretty high.
Yeah.
No, I went to a Blazers game, man. He had a knee brace on that was like
bigger than you.
Bernard King in 1989.
It'd be interesting to see if he can hold up.
Queen and Scott defensively is a bit concerning. Like, here's a question: do you guys really watch Derik Queen on defense, or is it just visually he doesn't look like a good defender? Because I feel like people look at a guy that's skinny and athletic and already label them a good defender. Derik Queen has some film where he's moving his feet, he's switching out, he's got quick hands. Like, I really want to know, like, are people saying a guy is not a good defender because he may be pudgy? Because he's
Derik Queen had the same block percentage as Asa Newell, who jumps out of the gym. Better rebounding.
He averaged more blocks too.
Yeah.
Like I think he might have averaged as many blocks as Molly Welch. Maybe a little bit less. So I'm picking Queen 6 in my rookie draft.
I like Queen in DC. I love him in DC. I love the fit. If him and Sar, I think they work out perfectly.
What do you guys see Cam Jones going? I like Cam Jones, man. He really showed that he could pass this year. He had a good assist to turnover ratio. We know he can score.
I think
Cam Jones needs to go to Dallas. Like, if you're the Mavericks and you're trying to find another guard depth, I would, if I can't get into the late first, if I get into the early second, Cam Jones is a guy that I would take.
I think Cam Jones is a system point guard.
But he's not a point. I mean, he only played point this year. He was a scorer.
Right, but I think he's a system point guard. I think that system at Marquette was really friendly. I don't think he's super dynamic in pick and roll. I do think he's going to be a better shooter than what he was, but I don't know.
Scoot tricked y'all, man.
Brandon Williams is tough, Ivy McGrady. Brandon Williams, you call Brandon Williams in the middle of the night, tell him to play in the morning, and tell him he's going to play 24 minutes, he's going to score 12 points, guaranteed. Someone
says, I want to see Hansa Yang versus Zach Edey. Me too. Me too. Me too. Even though I think Hansa Yang got more like touch and skill.
Man, right. I got one. Kadary Richmond to the Cavs. I wish Kadary Richmond had Ian Jackson's offensive motor.
Top 5 pick.
Kadary Richmond can hoop. Kadary Richmond.
Tyreke Evans, the Kobe Williams mindset.
Kadary Richmond is probably going to make a lot of money overseas, but he has NBA talent. He just
that dude will play a whole game and shoot 4 shots. Yeah. Kadary Richmond got game. It's another guy that I like. His stats don't show it, but Kamani Hohenschuh from Loyola Chicago. Game. Athletic, live dribble passer, but my man will shoot 3 shots a game and feel like he was aggressive.
Kadary Richmond got some good film, but you look up and it'll be over just like that because he's not going to take enough shots.
How you feel about Ben Saraf's game at the Euro Cup? 20 points, 4 rebounds. Had a good game. He had 20 points, 4 rebounds today. They just play on Tuesday. So hopefully they win. If they win, he'll make the draft. Him and the Senge make the draft. If they lose, then they're not going to hear their name called unless they decide to skip game 5. Copeland should have entered the draft. Copeland? Who the heck is Copeland?
Mm-hmm.
If I don't know him.
Liberty? Are you talking about Ivy? Are you talking about the New York Liberty? Man, I'm not buying the New York Liberty winning the WNBA championship, man. I think Sabrina Ionescu and
She couldn't make a shot, right?
Huh?
Who was it that couldn't make a shot?
Neither of them can shoot in the playoffs. Sabrina Ionescu, she a trickster, man. She had one outlier year shooting threes, and then like she's like a 20-something, low 30%. And then the point guard that just transferred, I can't remember her name. She can't shoot either. That's gonna bite them in the playoffs. They're gonna win these games in the regular season, but I do watch the WNBA. It's gonna be Minnesota's year, and they're not gonna be able to cheat them again this year.
I was talking to New York because he's talking about. They was talking about Kadary Richmond. He put up the Statue of Liberty. Will Riley film ain't impressed me, but I heard he's killing in workouts. Yeah, I've definitely heard that. Are you guys high on Micah Peavy? Yeah, Micah Peavy's gonna get drafted
for sure.
Micah Peavy is who everybody thinks Carter Bryant is. Obviously, there's an age difference and all that. And Micah Peavy, his freshman stats weren't impressive at the same age, but Micah Peavy is what everybody thinks Carter Bryant is right now. What team is the best fit for Saraf?
I wouldn't be mad at Saraf in with the Clippers at 30.
Yep. Yeah.
I do think they need a backup point guard or guard or whatever you want to call him.
Somebody say you got to watch Kadary film. Not like, yeah, you can watch the film, but you got to watch a full game because he might hit you with a cross. I'm telling you, he's Tyreke Evans light.
He for real
without the mentality. Without the mentality, man.
Rough. Our Blazers making the post. Go ahead.
Our Blazers making the post. No. I mean, what? I mean, like, think about the West. All right, let's just off the top of my head. OKC,
Nuggets,
Denver,
Minnesota,
Dallas, Lakers, That's five. Clippers,
6,
Houston,
7,
San Antonio,
8. 10 teams get a shot.
Warriors,
it's 9.
Grizzlies,
potentially Pelicans, and I can't. As much as I love Zion's game, I can't trust the injuries. Yeah, man. Good luck with that one. Yep.
So, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, who makes the jump for Portland where you're like, this is
Shady. He has to make a jump, and you got to still get rid of. You have to move on from Jeremy Grant. I mean, he gonna shut it down in March, but you want to start that a little earlier. Get him out of there.
Jeremy Grant just be trying to get his fits off. Shaden Sharp, what did he do last year? He had 18 a game. Dang.
That's what I'm saying. He's got to turn that into. I mean, when we talk to the Portland people, they say they love him. He just has to commit to playing defense and be consistent because that dude is extremely talented.
31% from three, though. Dang, he took 6 threes a game and shot 31%.
6 threes. I got no problem with 6 threes a game.
I do if you're shooting 31% and you can jump to the moon, man. You better get to that foul line. Man.
Yeah, that's true.
3.4 free throw attempts per game. Like he's got to add some more off the dribble, downhill scoring game. Like I absolutely have a hard time liking these crazy athletic dudes that can jump to the moon, but they can't get downhill. Like play one-on-one all summer.
He has he got the game. He's not like Andrew Wiggins who can't really put the ball on the ground like that. Like Shaden really can put the rock on the ground. He just gotta lock in and doing it. Like dude's got to get that Paul George aesthetic out of there. It's hard because that's what these kids model their game after. But like Shaden really got legit like all-star talent game. He got to make that jump. He makes that jump, they have a chance. I do think he has a talent, but
he shot 90 percentile in the paint last year. I know, but get to the line.
Yeah,
be a 3-level scorer.
Yeah, he's legit.
But I think to me, he just settles. Like he just settles. Like he's a guy that, like he'll just settle.
It was him that dropped. Was it him that dropped Paul George? It was him. I mean, I was talking about it a couple nights ago. Somebody made Paul George touch the earth. I swear it was Shaden, dog. I was like, oh yeah, Paul George's best days are long gone. It wasn't even no leg injury or anything.
When do you guys get to the point where we stop using the he's only 23 excuse for players? I'm kind of at that point with Jalen Green and his consistency. I mean, like, he's only 23. Like, I just think we're in this microwave era.
It's crazy, real quick, Ralph. Like, in no disrespect, but like we sit here and say, man, Nick Clifford is what are his flaws? He's 20, he's older than Jalen Green.
Yeah. I just think that
it's tough, man.
Yeah, man. And it could be situational. And I don't know what they're gonna do in Phoenix with 3 shooting guards, but
I'm not showing up.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like, I don't want to say Houston didn't believe in him, but they didn't believe in him after a while because his contract was definitely like set up for him to be moved. But I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I just think that he may need a change of scenery. I do think that for some guys it can be hard because he was supposed to be the face of the franchise. He was supposed to be like, like Harden's replacement, and Şengün just ended up being better. And so, he had to adjust to like, dang, it ain't my team. So now it's really not his team. So he's got the talent. He's definitely got the talent, but he's young, man. Terrence Shannon older than Anthony Edwards. Yeah. It was somebody else that it was weird that I was laughing at. Maybe it was Terrence Shannon older than Anthony Edwards. If you take Edgcombe, Murray is burnt. We can't play 4-6-4 guards, so 4-6-4 dudes. Hey. Hey, I think that they're going to take him. I really think that they're going to take Philadelphia's going to take VJ Edgcombe.
And that was my issue with. I mean, Trey is 6'5".
Trey is taller,
but I was
better shooter.
I'm still taking Ace Bailey. I'm like, hey man, we are taking you for a reason. We believe in your development long term, and we also believe that you could play right away for us.
Maxey 25 and still can't pass. The fans say he's growing into the point guard.
Maxey is a good enough playmaker. Maxey is like Tony Parker. Tony Parker wasn't held for his passing ability. Like
that was the system, though.
It was the system, but I feel like Maxey, he was the last time you saw him and Embiid on the court together, they were good. I think they just didn't have a third guy, and Embiid was running around with one leg. Like they were talented enough to, push that Knicks team. Highest you can see Alex Tui going. Shout out to Nick Street. 50s, I think Alex Tui. Like I said, before you came in, maybe you weren't in here. I think he's more of a 4 than a 3.
61 for me. I'm worried about the Trollers. Brian Pumper, man, that name throws me off. I actually see the real Brian Pumper. I mean, you might be the real Brian Pumper. I see the real Brian Pumper in LA once, and he had 19 chains on. He was walking down the street.
He probably like 5'4".
19 chains on. That sound like.
Parker could pass. Parker wasn't. He wasn't your. He was the.
He was the first hockey assist, man. Like it was one of the first penetrate, guards, man. But it was literally penetrate, kick it to the corner. The corner makes the extra pass. I think Parker could pass.
How do you feel about Watkins and Sion? I gotta figure out if his name is Sion or Sion. I really like Jameer Watkins. I think if Jameer Watkins shoots the ball just a little bit better, again, he is older, but like I think he's legit. I think he has big time defensive potential, and I think he's got the toughness. I think he's a good passer. I saw somewhere online he shot like 41% over his last X amount of catch and shoot threes. I need to reevaluate that number, but if he's making catch and shoot threes, he's somebody I think that has a chance to stick.
NBA Jam, I agree. Fear shooting concerns remind me of Maxey's development. Yeah, Maxey did not shoot the ball well at Kentucky. That's why he dropped. Fear shot 85% from the foul line. Like, I just am a believer. If you have good shooting touch at the foul line, and Fears makes like pull-up shots off the dribble. He makes some shots where you're like, all right, he's a shot maker. So I think the shooting is going to be fine. I do believe that.
Let me see here. Chris Paul or Darren Williams. Chris Paul easily won that.
I was going with Darren Williams at the time, though. In 2006, I might have been leaning towards Darren Williams.
And that's another one of those aesthetics trick you. Like Chris Paul has always been better.
Yeah,
like
but
Chris Paul's mid-range game is some of the best ever. Like, and he was actually like willing.
But didn't Darren Williams go to the conference finals? Because I think the Jazz went to the conference finals. I think didn't they beat Denver? Didn't they beat
Golden State that one year to get to the.
Chris Paul never got past the second round with the Clippers.
But he made some good runs with New Orleans. They ran into the Lakers. He cooked San Antonio. I think Chris Paul's a better player.
Here's something for you. Tyrese Maxey shot 29% from 3 at Kentucky and 83% from the foul line. Fears' numbers are better from 3 and at the foul line.
He's not as fast as Maxey, but he's still fast.
Tyrese Maxey got a weird type of fast. It's just like
burst,
like he shot out of a cannon.
And he takes off. He plays off of 1 foot. Like he runs like a triple jumper, long jumper. Like he's a different kind of athlete than Fears, and I'm a big Fears fan.
All right, let's wrap this up. When does your next mock drop? Honestly,
I don't think I'm gonna drop one, bro. These trades, man. I'm not trying to remove stuff.
I mean, like I'll probably put another one out.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'll probably put another one out. But to me, it's like, why are people coming out with new mocks?
Content, man.
Nobody played a game. Like unless it's Saraf and Asenge.
I mean, but you got to take into account trades. So, like, all right, what is this? What are the Suns? Ralph, what are the Suns doing at 10?
Because another trade can happen.
That's true. That's why I'm not putting one out.
So it's like, I mean, I'll probably update it but I mean, like, it's crazy to see people's mocks jumping up and down. That means you've changed your mock based off of workouts. You know what I mean? Not games.
You guys think of Kobe White? I really like Kobe White.
I like Kobe White. I like Kobe White a lot. Kobe White, yeah. Intel should affect mocks. Yeah, but here's the thing about the intel and the mocks. Like, I got a lot of intel, right? And I know, like, teams are trying to move up. I mean, I talk to, like, parents. Parents are getting the information from their kids who are talking to other guys. Like, I got some stuff that I would never put out. But, yeah, it's like, I mean, like, here's the thing, though, right? So if you know, an agent is telling people that his guy is killing in the workouts, then people are going to say his stock went up. But you got to ask the teams, but you also got to have like a really good relationship with somebody on the team that'll like kind of tell you what's going on. So with that being said, like, I don't understand like how guys draft stock can skyrocket when they haven't played a game.
So explain to me Will Riley then, Ralph.
He's actually playing guys one-on-one though.
Man, that's not a game.
But I mean, he's actually playing. I've heard that he's gotten stronger. Like, you know, the concern about him was his strength. But he's like, I think for him, the difference is he's playing. Most of these guys that are projected in the top 10 are not playing against anybody. They're just working out. So,
but if I'm playing against dudes in the 20s, I guess you battling the guys.
If Will Riley is beating some of these seniors and he's torching them in these one-on-one drills, that's got to help his stock. Especially,
let me answer this, Ralph, before we go. Do you think?
Hold on, Cam Reddish. You want to take that one?
No. Go ahead. You got it.
You saw the Cam Reddish clip of him cooking guys one-on-one. Yeah, but remember, I used to do video. I still do video stuff. Anything you see online, think about it. Have you ever seen a guy miss a shot online? Like, you never.
Man, they put out that Malawouch tape a while back, and he was shooting, and that ball was moving like, you know, Family Matters when Urkel was playing, and it cut away.
The shot, and then you see the hoop. Yeah. So I give you an example about why I don't get impressed by clips that are posted online, because it needs to be like, you know, you got to get it approved. So with that being said, in order for you to even be in the gym to film pre-draft workouts, You got to be approved. So
unless you pull what homie did with Conrad Boyle shooting.
But that was at the combine.
Yeah, that was at the combine.
So I give you a story. I forgot the dude's name. I can't think of his name. There was a dude. I can't think of his name. Jamias Ramsey. I'm not going to tell the whole story. But Jamias Ramsey was working out, doing some pre-draft stuff, and he had an older brother. When I say this dude's older brother was cooking everybody. I never heard of the older brother. I think he just got off work, but he was cooking everybody. There was an NBA All-Star who was at this workout, and he was cooking him. He was cooking everybody, and I was filming it. This is in 2020. The trainer came up to me and said, you can't put that out because, guys, draft stock is on the line, and somebody might not get drafted. It's going to make the rounds because this guy that nobody knows. When I say cooking, absolutely destroying two guys that were drafted. So with that being said, videos of players like getting buckets and one-on-one, you have to know somebody that's going to let you bring a camera in. And then if they let you put it out, it's not going to be any misses in that video.
All right, let me answer this, Ralph. From my main man, Jose Gonzalez. Do you guys think Edgecombe's ceiling could be more of a Derik White holiday mode than the Donovan Mitchell Oladipo mode? All right,
somebody knew the brother I'm talking about. Corinthian Ramsey played at Tarleton State. Yo, that dude, I still got the footage too. If I could figure out how to blur it out and take time out.
You can't blur that redacted player out, man. He's too recognized.
There's one guy that was the NBA All-Star, legit NBA All-Star, that couldn't do nothing with him. And it wasn't like he wasn't, of course he wasn't trying to play, but then once he started getting cooked, the competitive fire, but by then it was too late, man. It was if his name is really Corinthian, he had the momentum going. Yeah.
So VJ Edgecombe. All right, for one, Drew Holiday handle was ridiculous from the time he was a prospect to where he is now as a 35-year-old, whatever he is. So I think VJ isn't going to be the ball handler of a Drew Holiday. Derik White. That's interesting.
So with that being said, do you take that at number 3?
No, I'm not taking VJ at number 3. I take VJ at 4 for Charlotte, but I'm not taking him at 3.
Why are you talking about Drew Holiday's draft class?
I think Oladipo's handle was much tighter than Edgecombe's was, but I think Oladipo did 2 years or 3 at Indiana. I can't remember. I know Donovan Mitchell did a couple. He was a little older. I feel like they're better ball handlers. VJ Edgecombe is a clear path downhill, get to the basket guy, and even then, he shot terribly in the paint. But I do think he's more of a complimentary guy. And again, I get it. Holiday Holiday played point guard for a championship team. He played point guard at UCLA, and he's always handled the ball.
I don't even know if he played point guard, man. That dude was playing at Boston. I don't know what position he was.
No, I'm talking about in Milwaukee. He played point guard.
He was cutting. I don't even know in Milwaukee. He was cutting. He was offensive rebound. He was playing the dunker spot.
Yeah, they did some funny stuff, but I like VJ's athleticism. If VJ becomes a better shooter, great. But as far as the Oladipo, Donovan Mitchell lead guard, I think that might be a little further away than what, at least I think it's further away than most people think. Just because, if you watch a VJ tape, when the last time you saw him really break somebody down outside of 3 or 4 plays? Those guys had handles at the same age.
In a redraft, all right, let's say a redraft, 2009.
Yeah, Drew Holiday, Milwaukee point guard was infuriating because, Drew was so good. I'm sorry, Ralph. He was so good on defense, you'd have to look past him shooting 8 for 21. You know what I'm saying? Because there was some games where he was just come on, dog, what are you doing? Pass the ball to Giannis, fam. And he just go out there and shoot a turnaround jumper, but then he ripped Chris Paul. He'd be all is forgiven. But go ahead, Ralph.
Yeah, in the redraft 2009, so I would say Steph Curry would go number 1. James Harden 2. And then you have to
Who's in the
decide.
draft? Drew Holiday?
Huh? Yeah,
Two more,
Drew Holiday.
Okay.
So then you decide after that who is 3. Do you go Blake Griffin, DeMar DeRozan, or Drew Holiday?
I'm putting Drew Holiday over DeRozan for sure. I think context matters in talking about Drew Holiday and Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin was a cornerstone, was a franchise player. His legs, knees went to shreds.
Even when he didn't have any in Detroit, he was still like.
Well, he was cold in Detroit. He used it all up. But as the number one option, like was Drew ever number one option in those Philly years? That's how they got him traded. I just think context matters between the difference between those two. But I do think a better player, Drew Holiday, is a better player than DeMar DeRozan. DeRozan scored more points.
Yeah, but I think if Drew had to lead a team like DeRozan has had to, then we'd be talking something different.
That's true.
But Brandon Jennings would take himself number 1 in the 2000.
Yeah, all right, man. He gonna pop up in this chat.
I don't care, man. I don't care, man. What he gonna do? Fight me online? All he gonna do is talk about me, and the algorithm gonna be like, "Who's this guy you talking about?"
That's true. Oh, you gonna put Jim Jones in and use it to your advantage.
All right,
Drew is his best.
Drew Holiday is just not like VJ Edgcombe. Blake Griffin is ahead of Drew. Come on, yeah, I would take Blake over Drew without a doubt.
But again, it's context. If you run the analytics that Mike Jones hates, the analytics will tell you because of who he's played for that Drew Holiday had a better career. But
Blake Griffin was putting butts in the seats. Ain't nobody said, man, let me go watch Drew Holiday play.
You're not going to tell me nothing bad about 2009 Blake Griffin, 2010 Blake Griffin. Like, that was my favorite player.
I thought Curry deserved Rookie of the Year over Tyreke back in 2009.
James Barlowe would take Jim Jones over Nas. You got me all the way messed up on that.
Tyreke Evans should have won Rookie of the Year 2009, and that is because the Sacramento Kings strategically wanted him. It's like they didn't care. Like they just say, "Hey, man, do whatever you want to do because we want to be able to say that you are the first rookie since LeBron and Jordan and Oscar Robertson averaged like 25 and 5." And I didn't really know that till some NBA players told me. And I remember they told me, this same player told me the same thing about Michael Carter-Williams. He was like, dude is buns. I was like, but man, he's getting these numbers. He was like, look, man, he's going to play the whole game. And if you play enough minutes, you're going to be able to get 6 rebounds, 6 assists. He was like, wait until a team starts trying to win. Michael Carter-Williams is not going to be around. And Michael Carter-Williams did play, but he's a boxer right now. All right, last question. James probably would take Jim's on. No, James' favorite rapper is Nas.
By far.
Blake's highest peak, DeMar best longevity in terms of all-star level. Yeah, DeMar say he don't drink. I don't drink either. I never had a drink in my life. So
me neither.
I'm going to be potting for a long time.
You got another 25 years? Hey, man, that's all you're going to get out of me, man.
It's going to be me and Joe Rogan and the all-time leader in pods. All right, last question. Somebody got a good one. Kings can pivot out of this era, but they have to draft well. And I don't really know how much I trust Scott Perry. The Kings are the Kings. All right, I'm gonna ask you, James.
James lying, Roth. Hey, I'll bet you $10,000 right now. I've never had a drink in my life.
No, I never had a drink in my life.
10 racks.
I've never had coffee in my life.
I've never had coffee either.
I never smoked either. So
10 racks, Doug Holiday.
If you're the Kings, do you try to win?
No.
Because there's some parity? Because they got all of their picks.
Ralph, DeMar DeRozan is 5? You're basically trying to run back the Bulls teams that couldn't make the play-in.
So
I like Zach LaVine. I like DeMar DeRozan. I don't want them together along with Sabonis.
So do you sell?
I'm selling everything. I'm trying to get into 2026 somehow and beyond. I got to. The Kings just not built for this, man.
We not hitting the club with the Barlows? No.
Cool.
Oh, man. I mean, clubs. Man, I got a son, man.
Yeah, right.
I ain't in the club, man. I got a son. All right, that wraps it up. Today is it's Monday, almost Monday morning. No, it is Monday morning.
Monday morning.
Draft is Wednesday. We're gonna do. Actually, you know what? Let's go live Tuesday night. We're definitely gonna go live on draft night. But this was fun. Thanks for all the questions. Did a little under 2 hours. I will chop this up and turn it into an audio pod and edit it and all that. But hey, guys, fun. All right, here's the last question. Biggest draft day trade, something we don't know about. It's going to be like the Bane one. It's going to come out of nowhere. I mean, the big domino fell with Durant. Looks like Giannis is staying put. I think it's going to be a trade that nobody knows, nobody sees coming, that is going to be very, very interesting. So, all right, we are out of here.